I did a video ranting about how childcare costs basically made me have to work for myself, and a lot of the comments have twisted that conversation into being, well, the babysitter deserves to make a living wage too and all of this stuff. So let me explain what babysitting was when I was in high school, and you guys let me know what it is in 2023, because from my perspective, I am not your full-time employer. This is something that you do for a day. Like, I am not responsible for your benefits and career goals. So when I was 16, if somebody needed a babysitter, more often than not, they found you through somebody associated to the school or the neighborhood, something of that nature. So way back in the early 2000s, there was a woman who needed a sitter. She was neighbors with my best friend. My best friend's mother recommended me. And for 2 days a week, I would come and stay at her house from 6 a.m. until about 6 p.m. for $50 for those 2 days every week. Not $50 each day, $50 for the entire week at a time. So I would make about $2 an hour, a little bit more than that, when minimum wage back then was like $7.75, something in that ballpark. So yeah, I kind of expect people who do short-term childcare projects like that to not be paid minimum wage, because it's not a job, it's not a career, it's a task. I was never talking about hiring nannies. I don't know where this idea even came from what I said. But here's the thing of it. People are like, well, why would a teenager work for below minimum wage if they could go work somewhere else? Because when I'm a babysitter, I know my schedule. I am not working all the time, and I can enjoy so much free time while getting pocket money. I did not have a mortgage. My parents paid for that. I did not have to buy my own food in most cases, unless, I went through a drive-through. My parents paid for the groceries. I didn't even have to pay for my own car and gas. My parents covered that too. So it's literally, hey, I want to go to the mall and spend some money, and I want to have my own money. That's why I babysat. And so this whole idea of like, no, it's perfectly reasonable to pay a sitter $20 to $40 an hour while you go to work for $9 an hour, like that is insane to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. And I will say, I love the lady I babysat for. She was very well off. She lived in a very ritzy area. And yeah, she probably could have afforded to pay me more, but she didn't. And I wasn't worried about it because, again, it was pocket money for me. It was something to do to be out of the house, to have a recommendation in the future from somebody. It was not I need to make minimum wage exactly because my whole life aspiration is childcare. No, it was just a thing I did to almost kill time. Now, if you are hiring a babysitter full-time, 5-6 days a week, that's a different story, but that's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about when I'm a military spouse and my husband gets called up at the last minute when I'm scheduled to work, and they go, hey, you got to take over the desk because so-and-so's sick. Unforeseen circumstances where if I don't show up, I get written up at my retail job. And yes, some of you commenters are like, well, the military provides funding for childcare. They do, if your soldier is deployed, or at least that was the situation at the time as I was aware of it. And it also has to be like a daycare. If you need last minute emergency care because your spouse got ripped away, you still have to come up with that out of pocket. The military does not cover those sorts of things. They expect you to be a stay-at-home mother for the most part, or work a normal 9-to-5 job when those really don't exist in most places now. But anyways, that's what babysitting was for me when I was a teenager. But what is it now? Why do people expect to make $20, $30, $40 an hour watching children while someone else goes to work for $9, $10 an hour? How does that make sense? How do you justify that? How do you get it? Because, the thing I would see is that if there's not some kind of state-funded assistance with a daycare program, you're not getting hired. So if you're just pricing yourself out so that you don't have to work, that's fine. Or if you can find somebody who will pay you $40 an hour, by all means, take it. I don't think anybody would argue with you that you should take the higher paying opportunity. So now, because I couldn't afford childcare, I work for myself and I don't hire a sitter. So that is 2 jobs out in the world that are no longer being covered in the economy because I couldn't afford the childcare to begin with. So now I can't be a worker for someone else, and I can't hire someone else because of the cost. It doesn't necessarily benefit the economy. But again, what is babysitting to you? Let me know.